Hi, I'm Barber Keith. Thanks for joining me on this episode of Off 90. Here's a story about the rise and fall of a farm and entertainment complex near LeRoy, Minnesota. In the early 1900s, a man named Thomson built several state-of-the-art livestock farms, along with an entertainment park. In the early days of the automobile, the park drew thousands of people to its dance hall, hotel, and swimming pool. We take a look at Thomson and where he got the money to build this dreamland.
Here's the foundation for the pool. Considering the foundation is about close to 100 years old, and it was a huge swimming pool for that time. This is the deep end. You can see over there how large it is. The dance hall was located over there as well, and it was a huge dance hall. I know of a lady in LeRoy that talked about coming here for their high school prom. We are still using the same well that they used, and it's wonderful water.
I'm Eileen Evans, and I compiled a book about Thomson. Thomson is a man who in the early 1900s started a poultry business out just south of LeRoy. And it was in Iowa, actually. He started not only having the poultry business, he started to use money lavishly. He was building up this Oakdale Park, and the Oakdale Park became a famous place to go to. People would come all the way, from Minneapolis and Chicago and all to come to this Oakdale Park. And he had a playground for the kids. He had a campground for the people. He had the pie place. He had restaurants.
Out there, kind of when you came in the front yard was a hotel. And that hotel, part of it was taken and is a home down here on the blacktop here. This place across the road was the offices of the poultry company. This is where some of the chickens were kept. For the poultry part of Oakdale Park.
And they would estimate in the paper how many were coming, like 10,000 people were coming. And, everybody was really, wow, he's really doing good out there, with the poultry,
Basically, Cy was a farm boy. Went to work for Hormel Corporation. He worked on the plant floor, and Mr. Hormel, not Jay, but George, saw something in Cy and encouraged him to go to business school in Mankato. Cy came back and became the comptroller of the Hormel Corporation. And over the course of about 10 years, he stole well over $1 million from the Hormels. I work at First State Bank, Minnesota, here in LeRoy. We were established in 1893, and he used our bank to move money from Hormel to his different operations, his farms. Back in the early 1900s, you kept paper. We, the bank, kept everything in chronological order by year. So it was really simple for me to go to dig through all those papers. It's fascinating in how brazen he was. He actually sent letters to our bank on Hormel letterhead saying, here's $600 cash, please deposit in Oakdale Farms checking account. It was grand scale kiting. He made money go into what's called in transit. In other words, it wasn't on your books, it wasn't on my books, it was on the way. So we're talking about $1.1 million over the course of 10 years has just been pushed out and is on the way. The process by which Cy was using to kite money was through at least 10 different banks.
The checks went by mail. So every single day he had to be at work to get that mail. So for 10 years he never missed a day of work.
Cy did a lot of things with this stolen $1 million plus. Some of the things Cy did was he built farms. Cy built farms that were featured in popular farm magazines, kind of the forefront of technology.
He got a $10,000 rooster, and they were first-class poultry, and he won lots of prizes with them, you know, in Madison Square Garden and all.
The people at that time loved Cy Thomson so much because Cy brought cool into the country. Cy Thomson was caught during a normal audit of the books at Hormel. When confronted, Cy admitted and was able to give a pretty close estimate of how much money he had taken from the company.
He knew to a penny how much he had embezzled and had never written down one thing. It was all in his head. He was put in jail. He was given 15 years, but he only served 9.5 of them, and then they let him out.
If you look at the newspapers at the time, the stories came out, but no one believed that Cy was guilty. The local dealership brought Cy a free car to use while he was out of work. The first year he was in prison, received over 400 letters from people, Lieutenant Governor of California, priests that he was acquainted with, tons of businesses. There was a petition here in LeRoy of over 300 people signed asking for his immediate pardon. That's what baffles me about the whole thing, is here's a guy that was caught and convicted, but people still loved him,
Some of them, they would come by train. They'd park the train on the siding. They come from all over, and they'd come out here to the park during the week, and then they'd get back on the train, go back after the weekend to Chicago or wherever it might have been.
I still don't believe that that's exactly the full story. I'm not sure exactly what the full story is.
I wondered why he had done it and I questioned it for a very long time, thinking that maybe at the very end he was going to give it back.
Even though he did something wrong, he was such an entrepreneur. I keep thinking, what if he'd have done it the right way? Could have been the Disneyland of the Midwest or something like that.